What's up, YouTube? Thanks for tuning in. Slingin Dirt Media here in the shop with Robert Hensley. Robert, thanks for having us.
All right, I appreciate it.
I've been trying to me and the boy, we've been talking about this for a while, trying to get this together and do it. But sometimes scheduling is can be tricky. So we were talking in the Facebook version about how and when you got started. You was telling me about this car you bought in 1977.
It was a Chevelle car at that time, had a big block 454 in it.
Okay.
It was at that time it run with anything that come around.
Sure.
But
that's a lot of power.
That car there, I had went to Eldora and I had never been up there. And,
okay.
I was kind of like lost. And anyway, I put the thing out there to qualify. And to be truthful with you, it had a nitrous button in it.
A nitrous button.
But Mr. Bob was washing the car, and he'd let the button where you push the gas and hit the button.
Yeah.
I'd let it rusty around there. So as I made one lap, and I hit it down the back chute, and I said, wow. So I come off of number 4 to hit her towards the flag, and when I did, the button stuck.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't get it cut off. I hit the wall and knocked the motor up beside of me.
Was this nitrous legal or no?
I don't know. I didn't ask anybody.
It's better to just beg forgiveness.
I had it ahead pretty good. You know, I had a good spot to hide it.
Oh, okay.
But I had saw people with them, and they had said nothing to them. So, hey. But when I bought the car, it was already in it.
Oh, okay. It had to be legal then.
So I filled the tank up and went at it.
Yeah.
That's it broke my knee, broke my arm. It fractured my skull, broke my nose.
Ouch. So you felt that one?
They hauled me out of there. Yeah. Yeah, I'd got out of the car and told them to go get my motor home, bring it down. I was going home. Chuck Williams said, I don't think you're going nowhere, Bob. He said, I don't think you're going nowhere but the hospital. I realized then I was hurt.
Do you remember which hospital they took you to?
I don't know, but they put me in a ambulance, and I remember they was hauling the mail. Yeah. I don't know where they took me to.
Yeah, I think Coldwater's probably not too far away. It might have been.
As they come out of there, they made a left, so that's all I could remember.
Okay.
But that guy was driving the ambulance that guy was dangerous.
Was he as dangerous as you was?
He was pretty dangerous. He was scared the hell out of me on the way down there. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
My wife was in there with me. She was upset. You know.
She was getting scared too.
She wasn't worried about that.
Or she more.
She didn't realize how much.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was hurt like that until I calmed myself down and I realized I was hurt pretty bad at that time. Yeah.
Didn't realize so much stuff was broken and.
Yeah, I had a bolt came out and went through underneath my kneecap, shot all the way into my knee.
Yeah. Ouch.
It was a ride.
Yeah.
I tried to stop her. I beat on every gauge and button I could find, and she still wasn't cut off. Yeah. So it happened so quick that I really didn't have any time to do anything.
Right.
What it did was it had so much force, it ripped the called a J-bar, side J-bar, it ripped it out and shot the rear end out one side, which turned me in the wall.
Really?
I never even got to lay my foot on the brake. I hit her wide open.
Wow, wide open. No, there was no slowing that thing down.
It was a big block, and I had her on the floor, and the track was heavy.
Ouch.
Had them big humpers on there, which was 3 times as big as what you got now.
Yeah, I did an episode with Vern.
Yeah, I was lucky. I was. You know, I mean, I don't know if God was sitting in the seat with me or not, but it should have killed me.
Right.
I mean, if I'd been in a car that wasn't built like them old cars was, I would have got killed. You know.
Wow.
Because they was built well. I mean, you know, they was strong, had big roll cages in them.
Yeah.
Twice as big as what they got now.
Yeah, way bigger. Now, would you have
they weighed 30-some-100 pounds.
Wow.
3,700 pounds.
So this is something safe enough you probably would have let your wife drive.
My wife drove some.
Really?
Yeah, she won. She drove Florence twice in where they would let the women had been driving some.
Uh-huh.
Well, they let her in a late model, and she run off and left them.
Do you have any pictures of this? Because I got to get some pictures of this.
There's some on Facebook. It's got a picture of her sitting there.
Really?
She was driving her brother's car, Johnny Holt.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question. She's got a brother that raced.
She scared us so bad we run on the track trying to slow her down. She had done past everybody twice and was going at it again. You know, I mean, the car had a big block in it. And She was hauling them out.
She was
She
getting
drove
on
one
with
time after that, a few years later, and she won another race. Yeah.
Really? So
but there was some ladies in there with her had been driving, and
Right.
stuff. But I don't know. She just had what you call a knack thing,
Yeah.
a natural deal,
So did she grow up around the sport too?
Well,
you said her brother
I met her.
raced,
She was
Johnny.
17 years old, 52 years ago,
Okay. Wow.
and we're still married.
That's awesome.
So she had went with races with me.
Yeah.
And, but the last car I flipped out Florence, she wouldn't hardly come out there anymore.
Yeah.
And then my son flipped one, and she won't go back anymore.
Now,
It upset her too much, and she won't even go to track anymore.
yeah. Now that was like a fan appreciation night, wasn't it? When Robbie flipped his.
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Right by the opening on the backstretch.
Yeah.
He did some kind of
he
triple
turned
gainer.
About the same somersaults I did from the coming off of 2 down to almost 3.
Yeah, just trying to do it like his daddy did, I guess, huh?
I guess he was trying to act silly like me, you know what I mean? I had a steering rod broke on my car. It was a brand new car, and I guess it wasn't on there as tight as it should have been. It snapped loose on me, and away she went. And some lady, he had done lapped everybody there, just about except one person. Most of the whole field he had lapped, and there's a lady driving a car, trying to drive a late model, and he'd done passed her 2 times, and she cut over him in the middle of the chute and caused him to flip the car.
Wow.
He was lucky, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I remember his flip. He got airborne. He got way up there.
That was more than what I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was lucky.
That was
he
nasty.
didn't, he's lucky he didn't get injured seriously. You know what I mean?
He's a pretty good sized boy, and there's been a couple of guys that I've seen that are good, healthy, young guys, and they take some bad wrecks, and it seemed like they don't get hurt as bad. I feel like if he'd been a smaller guy, it'd probably busted him up pretty bad.
Well, the car he was in, really, he shouldn't have been in it. The roll cage was not tall enough. See, this car here has a 2-inch tall roll cage.
Yeah.
It has 4-inch step out for your gas pedal.
Right.
The car he had got in is a car that I was driving. I let him get in it, and he had a natural act too. I mean, he was just able to pick it right up.
Right. Yeah, he grew up around it a lot too.
Yeah.
We talked about me and him. I remember a time. You may remember this. We went to a bunch of us went down to Prestonburg, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Thunder was it Thunder Ridge? I think it was. It was a Thunder Ridge 100, and it was like a horse track around the car track. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It's just it was a little. It's
little bull ring track.
It was flat. I mean, it was just. That's what it was, a horse track. I think.
Yep. If the way I remember it, it's like the pits where all the haulers parked. We parked on the horse track all the way around, and I just remember bits and pieces. It's been a long time ago.
It was a crazy place.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, they all show up down in Kentucky. They're racing down there is big. I mean, you'll have more people down in there with a small track than you do up here. You know?
Right.
They love racing down in there, and Indiana's another place is really big for racing. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I heard we've talked off camera that you and Robbie both love Lawrenceburg, but we don't get a lot of late model races at Lawrenceburg.
I love Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that's almost like Pennsboro in a way. I mean, it's wide. You can race. It's fast.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Right.
And he's been over. He won a couple of races over.
Right.
You know. But I liked it. I'd love from the race late models over there again. But
I've heard Dave say something about maybe trying to get add a show or something like that. I told him he mentioned that we did a live deal one time, and he said he may be interested in doing like a Sunday deal, like a.
I would go over there.
I told him this past weekend, we actually had the conversation. I said, man, I don't know if I'm getting the same 5 people ask me about it. It's like, man, I get asked about late models at Lawrenceburg all the time.
Whatever day they race, I will be going.
Yeah.
I'll even go over there for a cheaper race.
Yeah,
because I like the track.
Sure.
You know? I'd go over if he was racing for $2,000. I'd show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think if he looked at the schedule carefully and found a week, that Florence is not running, maybe Brownstown's not running super late models, and man, I think if a guy threw a 2,000 or 2,500, I think he'd get a full field. I really do.
I raced over there when it was a little bitty. I've been lucky to have been a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, the old Lawrenceburg.
And I mean, it was packed in.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why they don't race it now.
Yeah.
If they do, they'd count on us. We'll be over there.
So I used to race modified, and I raced at Lawrenceburg when it was the little track.
Yeah.
I never got the.
That was fun.
Yeah, I never got to turn laps on the big track.
That was fun track.
Yep.
I raced over there several times. Robbie won some races over there when I first took him out. He went over and won Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night.
All in one weekend.
Yeah, he probably hadn't drove a car a couple months.
Yeah.
He just got in a car.
Right.
And I
picked it up.
I took him over in Indiana on a track, and I said, down. He'd never been in a car. I sat him in, and I said, now go around through there a little bit, and I'll motion you a little faster. So he went around through there, and I said, well, what the hell? I said, well, I motioned him on down a little further, about halfway. Then I motioned him down about 3/4 of the way, and he almost lost the car, and I stopped him, and I said, did you feel anything? He said, yeah, I felt it in my butt of the car coming around. I said, well, there's what I'm trying to get you to do. I said, now get back out there and take her on down there till you feel her, and then do what you need to do to keep it.
Right.
So I said, well, I decided I was smarty, so I got in the car, and where he was about 1/4 of a second faster than I was.
Really?
He'd never been in a car.
Never been in a car.
I'm Scout's honor. I'm telling you the truth.
And he was 1/4 of a second faster.
I took him out Florence Speedway. What I'm telling you now is the truth.
Yeah.
I took him out Florence Speedway, and I said, now get on the tail of the feature. I said, no, get on the tail, and if you can pass somebody, go ahead.
Right.
Now, this is a late model race. Good cars are.
Right.
I looked around. He was running third. That's
First time ever there.
That's the truth.
Man, that's awesome. That's a good way to start out.
That's the truth. There was a couple of guys, I don't want to say who they was. They said, well, I don't think I'm going to race anymore. I said, me neither. They said, well, if you telling me he never drove a car before, I said, yeah.
Yeah.
They said, well, we don't need
to be here.
I don't want to tell you who it was. There was 2 of them. And not long after that, I'd never seen them in a late model anymore.
Really?
They said, how can somebody do that? I said, don't ask me. I said, I never did it.
Right.
And that's the truth, what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's actually the truth.
Yeah.
He just was just what you call a natural.
Picked it up real quick.
Yeah.
Some people just have it, and some people takes years to get it.
Yeah.
Some people never have it.
Before I ever won a race, I think I hit every wall in the country and every fence and everybody's car.
In everybody's car. Hit everything. Hit the pace car even.
Yeah, I didn't have what I put. When I put him in a car, though, it was a good car.
Yeah.
It was a master-built car with a good motor, and he immediately took to it like a duck to the water. I mean,
just like you were supposed to have been there.
Yeah. There's a lot of people does that. If you watch, you'll see other guys do the same thing. There's a couple of young drivers right now that ain't drove very long. I watched them. I mean, them guys are fast. Yeah. They just started, and they just picked it up like snapping your fingers,
Yeah.
I never got in nothing like this right here, though.
Man, these things are wild, ain't they?
He's supposed to let me drive it.
Is he?
He said he is.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I name it, he changes the subject. He ain't interested in letting me in it, man.
Yeah.
He's afraid I might make him look bad.
It might be. What would it be like if you went out and happened to be 1/4 second quicker than him? You think he'd quit?
I doubt that very seriously. I don't think that's going to happen no time soon.
You never know.
Just, but talking about racing, it's just they have pushed the average guy out.
Yeah.
I wish they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, how can you pay $207 for a tire that you make 30 laps with, all 4 of them, take them off, throw them away?
Yeah.
I wish they had never did that. You know what I mean? There's no reason to pay that much money for stuff.
Yeah.
Motor $50,000.
Yeah. Somebody else had brought that up. It might have been Vern. Vern. He said He said I don't see how they're charging and getting what they're getting out of it. He said you're talking.
Here sets this car sitting on the ground with a driver in it, ready to go on a racetrack. There's $125,000 or $30,000 sitting there, which you probably don't believe that, but it's true.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah,
you start adding it up, it's there.
It don't take but a few minutes.
Right.
A good motor's $50,000 now. That's not counting That's not counting transmissions, drive shafts, so on and so forth.
Right.
Another $15,000 worth of shit going back through there. So you got $65,000 in the motor with a hook going through there.
Right.
Then you got to buy you a couple of carburetors, 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And rims has got out of hand.
Yeah.
You know, you're giving $300 for a rim.
Yep.
And you're probably going to bend it for the night.
I learned real quick. I started out and I was always putting a bead lock on the right front. I learned real quick I don't need a bead lock on the right front because it's going to be more expensive every time I hit the wall. Yeah. And now I just bent up an extra $30 or $40 when I didn't need to, you know.
You about have to run one on a late model now. And you got to run actually on the left rear, you got to run an inner bead lock.
Yeah.
And they're not cheap neither. No. They're $300 some.
Man.
So, you know, about sponsors, it's hard to race, to be honest with you.
Sure.
I mean, we have a business and we still need sponsors. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
We've got some pretty good sponsors. And people really helps us when we ask them, you know.
Right.
They're all good about it. You know what I mean? That's helped you a lot. But
now, did you have a lot of sponsors back in the day when you were racing?
No, the only sponsor I had was my left front pocket.
Left front pocket.
Yeah. I own body shops and selling cars and stuff, and that's how I made my money.
Okay.
I made good money in the body business, so I was in it till I got to where I wasn't physically able to do it, and I got out.
Yeah.
But then at that time, you could put a real good car together for $20,000.
Right. They weren't like this.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know, it seems like there's always a body shop somewhere involved in racing. You know, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. I kept naming my body shop on but of course it didn't. You know, I just did that for my own use. It didn't bring. There's a lot of people come around there, but they all want to talk about race cars.
Yeah.
I would paint some of the race cars and stuff like that for them, the ones I knew. But racing is something that I love to do. I hope I'm able to do it to the day I fall dead myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I just it's hard to explain it to you.
Sure.
It gets in your blood and you cannot get it out.
I don't know because I've never been. Gosh, I don't know how you say it. A lot of people compare it to a type of drug. It's like you get addicted to it.
I've never had no drug problems, but
me neither.
It'd be from what I see, it kind of be like that.
Yeah,
it is. It's just something that you enjoy to do.
Yes,
it's something you get.
And
up,
it can be a good thing too.
You get up every morning, 7 days a week, thinking about it.
Yeah,
and you go to bed thinking about it.
Yeah,
and sometimes you have little dreams in the middle of the night.
Little dreams, big dreams, all kinds of dreams. Yeah. That's why we do what we do because we.
I don't know what I would do with myself if I didn't own this right here.
Yeah, same.
But honestly, it's true. If I didn't have that to race, I guess I'd go in the house and sit down and not come out. You know what I mean?
What kind of life would that be?
No life at all.
No.
That's why you see a lot of people, older people, still races. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see guys right now that goes to tracks just like me I have problems walking around. I've got neck and back problems from wrecks and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys just like me. They go because they like it. You know?
They love it, and it gives you a little exercise, gets you out of the house, gives you some motivation.
They probably like me. They spend money they shouldn't. They can't help themselves. You know?
Yeah.
Racing cars or something like a good-looking woman.
Yeah. Can't get enough of.
You can't get enough of them. Exactly right.
It's like too much money. Nope. Too much fun? Nope, no such thing.
I just hope we can keep on doing it.
Sure.
As long as I'm able to go to a track and go with my son, you know, afterwards, him and my grandson. My grandson's pretty smart on these cars.
Yeah, he's learned a lot in the last few years.
He knows more stuff than I know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things, but he's pretty he's up to date on things I'm not. You know,
right.
I understand the things. It's just that that's something I don't do in the shocks and what have you, but now he does. The
technical aspect has gotten so much more detailed, and he's keeping up with it.
I sent him to a school for them shocks, which made him a lot smarter, and he made the cars a lot better. You know.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes these days.
Yeah, he's got a couple of different tools that we work with, a frame smasher and a dyno. We got about 20,000 dryer tub, them two things.
Wow.
But they cost money, but they help you. If you cannot race without them.
Right.
One of the most important things on your shocks, honestly, is a frame smasher.
Okay.
It is the biggest important thing. If you get that deal right, what the numbers you're looking for, then you go. If you don't, you don't.
You don't. And you didn't have anything. What was the shocks like back on the cars when you used to run?
We bought them at when I first started. We bought them at Kentucky Motors and bolted them on. We bought a 50-50 shock, up,
Okay.
down, down. That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
I won races with them.
Yeah.
I had them on my car at Pennsboro.
Really?
Yeah, I give $40 a piece for them.
Gosh. Well, I can't see. That's what I
don't
wish
want
the
to tell you
sport
what
was
these
like
cost
that.
here. These are $700-800 a piece.
Oh gosh.
Some of them's more than that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wish things was more affordable like they used to be.
So do I. I don't.
You'd see a lot more people involved.
I own about 3 cars. If they I'd be at track 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be opening them up and closing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice if the money wasn't so down bad. You know.
Oh yeah.
Money's hard to come by now because of all the things that's happening with
Sure.
trucks and stuff and the fuel and things.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts us a little, but we'll live through it like
Yeah.
we always do. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll make it through it. You know.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I know. It's just, everything's getting more and more expensive everywhere across the board, and it's what do? You know, you just grin and bear it and keep on going.
Well, drum of fuel's about $700 now. I
$700.
remember when you could buy them for $350 or $400.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even $250. But
What kind of fuel? You said you ran alcohol in your big block car.
we run alcohol, regular alcohol.
Regular
in,
alcohol.
in cars years ago.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me at Pennsboro. I tried to run that race with alcohol. You use twice as much alcohol.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can run a race with 50, say you can run a race with a 100 lapper and you put alcohol in, you're only going to make 50 laps.
Right. Right.
So
It burns
it's,
twice as quick.
Well, I didn't have time to swap it over from
Right.
there to gas. I didn't have the time. They called me out and said, "Come on now,
Yeah.
or you ain't going." I said, "Well, let me go."
Yeah.
It's just one of them deals, you know. You in racing, you run into things like that.
Yeah. So do you have a biggest moment? Do you have a biggest race that you won that you remember as your
Races I won.
Yeah.
I never did win really. I won some late model races and stuff here and there. Pennsboro would have been the biggest race.
Would have
for
been
me
the
if I'd
biggest,
have
had that one.
Got through that little deal up
Yeah.
there. But I quit for a while, and then Robbie come along, and he's about 9 or 10 years old. I took him to Florida with me, and I come back. We end up with a race car a few months later. And he was about 10 years old. I had quit and wasn't going to race anymore because at the time I didn't have anybody to help me with a car. Like they was beginning to get more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just decided, you know, I was going to try to quit fooling with them.
Yeah.
Which I bought me a boat. That got old real quick. So
Yeah.
then I took him with me to Florida, and then all he talked about was race cars. So I ended up going and buying a late model.
There
I bought a modified first, raced it a couple years, and
Yeah.
and then I ended up buying a late model.
See, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if I remember you. I don't think I remember you driving a modified.
I had one for years. I held the track record, qualifying record at Florence, 17 flat. I held it for years.
Yeah.
Which they probably never mentioned it. But I had that record for years, and then
Really?
somebody finally turned a 16.9 something and broke the record.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't do very good in the modified. I didn't care
Yeah.
too much. You know, the tires was small. I wanted
Right.
to drive it a lot quicker. And
It was
would stick.
way different than what you were used
Well, you know, I thought you could drive it wide open. You found out you couldn't.
to. Did you find out the hard way?
Yeah, I did. You know, I tore it up, turned it over. But anyway, I end up. He's the one who calls me. End up racing again.
Really? Yeah. So we blame him.
I really was through with it. And I went to races. I just wasn't going to fool
Right.
him anymore. You know? And he wasn't shut up. So, you know.
Had to keep running his mouth, didn't he?
Oh, he drove me crazy.
Yep. Kids can do that to you.
Yeah. He's a little hard to tell no to. I mean,
Think he's a little bit like his dad?
yeah, he's a little bit like me. On the good side, he is.
Yeah,
You know, on the
yeah.
good part of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish we could go to more races. And what we do is what bothers
Sure.
me. They all want to go, but you know, I just can't walk out of the business.
Oh, yeah.
We got a bunch of tow trucks, semis, and heavy duty wreckers and stuff, and mechanic work. We own 2 garages,
Yeah.
and I just can't walk off and leave them.
Right. Right. You got to keep business going. You got to do what you got to do to keep it
He
going.
works there, and my daughter works there too.
Yep,
And,
yep.
and he leaves. He'll go with this year for a week, but that'll, we'll have to put somebody in his chair while he's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'd like to race. We're hoping next year things might change to where we can race more often.
Right.
We're trying to get into the semi business more so than what we are.
Okay.
You go on the expressway, you see a rollback here and there, but you pass thousands of semis.
Thousands.
Somebody's making money.
Somebody is making money.
Yeah, we got a couple of them makes good money, so we're looking at maybe buying 3 or 4 more of them, put them on the road. That would help us a lot.
There you go. Yep. Well, at least you've got a direction and you're looking into it and know which way you want to go.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple of them right now, and they make a lot of money. They surprise me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But fuel was kind of handcuffed us, but
yeah.
I think it'll go back down. I think this will last a year or two, and it'll go away.
Right.
I think somebody else will get in there and realize what's going on.
Yeah, I hope so.
They'll open things up.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so for everybody.
Yeah. It's
a lot of different reasons.
It's hurting a lot of people, man, right now. You'd be surprised.
Yep.
But you just got to make do with it and keep cranking.
Yep. We do what we do. We grin and bear it and keep on going.
That's about the truth.
Yep.
That is about the truth.
Yep. All right, Robert, before we wrap up, is there anything else, any other memories or anything else that really stands out from back in your racing career, back in the day that you thought, man, we should probably know about, or anything?
Really, I've just been to all these tracks in my life and raced. I've raced Richmond, everywhere you can think of. I've been to Florida.
Yeah.
I've been to all of them. None of them really bothered me except Pennsboro. That's a track that I wanted to win so bad. It was unreal up there.
Yeah.
At that time, if you went up there, even with me running out of fuel and didn't win the race, I had some people call me, had a lot of money, and talked to me about driving cars. And at that time, I just didn't call them back. I probably should have.
Right.
But it would have been a good offer. I found out later on who they was. I thought they was just, run their mouth.
Yeah.
I found out later on people had a lot of money.
Wow.
So I made a mistake there.
Could have been a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I told him, I said, I'll call you back, and I never did. I lost his number to call the guy. I saw him years later, and he said, how come you didn't call me back? I saw him at a track.
Yeah.
I said, well, I lost your number. He said, that's what I thought. He said, I just thought maybe that you didn't want to fool with it no more. You was upset over that race. I said, nah. I said, I just fooled around, lost your number, didn't call you. I said, I didn't believe you, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I know who you are now. He said, well, I wish you'd call me. I've seen who he was sponsoring, who was with him.
Yeah.
And he had money.
He had money. They were getting it done.
Missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. That was something I never forgot.
Yep.
It just happened to me, and that's it.
Yep. Well, Robert, I appreciate you having us tonight. Let's come in. I appreciate you telling me some of your stories and stuff, and telling us about the cars and stuff. And
I could tell you some more, but I don't think I will. It might not be the ones.
Well, that's all right. We can talk about some other time, or we'll get a part 2. I've had quite a few people ask us, say, man, there's more we could talk about, and we can do a part 2. I was like, you know what? We may have to get into those.
Overall, I like to tell you who my favorite dirt car driver is.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Is Billy Teagarden.
Billy Teagarden.
I liked him so much.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy had at that time he was racing, if he'd had the right money behind him.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to say what he would have won.
Yeah.
I liked him very much. He had to drive, and he was a good driver too.
Yeah.
I raced him. You couldn't beat him easy.
When I was a kid, it was Pat Patrick.
I knew Pat real well
yeah,
too.
Pat was he was my favorite.
I raced with him, and he always had them white boots on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I raced with him. I knew Pat Patrick and Floyd Gilbert. I knew him real well.
Chuck. I always liked watching Chuck too.
He was like a bull on the racetrack.
Yeah, he was.
He would run over you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was all right though. I mean, he was good people.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like Billy more than all them drivers. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought he was as good as they come. If he just like a lot of other people, he just had to have the right equipment, and he could have did. He would have been amazing if he'd had the right equipment.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yep. I still see Danny Eichler still racing.
Oh yeah, the little guy.
Yeah. He still races.
What's he racing?
He's racing the street stock class.
Oh, is he?
Over at Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
And man, he's fast. He's running up front.
Yeah, he run a late model pretty good at one time.
Back in the day. Yep.
He wasn't very big at all. He was real small.
Yep. Little guy. Real little guy.
Yeah, him and John Mugman was always getting in fights. John Mugman running across the track was going to beat him up because he bumped into him. I laughed. It looked like an elephant, running the mouse down the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know John Mugman real well. He was a super nice person.
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked to Danny about doing an interview with Danny, and he said, yeah, we'll do that. If you want to, we'll do it. And I've talked with Shane about maybe trying to get something with Shane and John. That'd be great. Get some of their stories. Well,
it's nice you all doing this. To be honest with you,
this is something I've had kind of in mind for a while, and I want to get that variety, but I want to let the people get to have that connection with the drivers, and not just the drivers today, but the guys that used to do it. Some of the older guys that are maybe retired, and get some of the stories, because it's at some point these stories are not going to be around if we don't record them and be able to look at them later on.
If you want to get some stories, see if you can get Billy Teagard to talk to you.
Billy Teagard, yep.
I'm telling you.
Yep. I'm sure I can get somebody watching and make that connection, and we'll get a phone number or maybe get a phone call.
It would be great if you get him.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, he really, I would love to see y'all talk to him.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in listening to him.
Yeah. I can't announce all the stuff coming up, but I've got another. I think another good one coming up. It's I'll tell you about it off the air, but I think it's going to be a neat, and I think it's going to be really cool, something coming up this summer.
My second driver I liked a lot was Bob Purist.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was
the tall, cool one.
He was easy to talk to, a nice person. If you ask him a question, he told you exactly what he thought about it. He was a good driver. Not only that, he was a nice person. That's what made Bob good. He had a real nice personality. You talked to him, he was just like talking to your brother.
Yeah, good, just a good guy.
When I saw him drive, I liked him real well.
Yeah.
He was the second driver I would like to see do anything. Yeah.
I remember when I was younger. I remember the big rival seemed like it was Bob Pierce and Scott Bloomquist had their big. I don't know that it was much of a rival, but it was always a big. They were always tough with each other,
I don't know. Bob Pierce is a heck of a driver.
Yeah.
He was smooth as a ribbon.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched him win a lot of races. I liked him real well. I like Billy because he was just. I knew Billy probably when he was 18 years old, working on an old car behind an apartment building my grandmother lived in Covington.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was driving for a guy on the junkyard. I remember Billy when I first seen him.
Yeah.
He was probably 18 years old then, driving them old cars back in them days. That was back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Huh.
And that's when I first saw him. He come up the hard way, but he won a lot of races.
Yeah, he did.
He won a ton of races.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to guess how many features that boy won at Florence alone.
We've
Richmond,
talked.
He won races down there.
We've talked about it with a few other people. We've tried to guess because there's not pinpoint accurate records. Like, who's got the most all-time wins at Florence?
At Florence?
Yeah. Who do you think it is?
I know his name, but I cannot get it in my head to tell you. He drove a 55 Chevrolet. It had 0 on it.
Okay.
I cannot remember his name. The guy who owned it had a 6-cylinder, and he won every week out there for I don't know how long.
Was
every
it
week he won.
Owned by the Cooks?
It was Cook, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember the guy that drove that car. It had a 55 Chevrolet yellow, had a 0 on it, and they run a 6-cylinder. And everybody had them old V8s, and they were spinning tires, and he just drove on by them.
Was it?
I remember him just winning. I don't know how many races I saw that man run.
Was it Ralph Latham?
It might have been Latham. It might have been.
Yeah.
It probably was Ralph Latham. That's I remember. But
I think there were 2 brothers that owned that car, the Cook family.
Yeah.
I can't remember Ed was one, and I can't remember his brother's name.
His dad was a giant, big, heavy guy. Real guy. I knew his dad. His dad worked on some motors for us in them Hemis.
Yeah.
We had Hemi motors, and he worked on those. Yeah, that 50. I can't remember how many races that man won.
Bunch.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Pat Patrick won a lot of races too.
Yeah.
Out there. But I think that Zero might have won more races than anybody I can remember, because it just every week he won.
Right.
And he won these other tracks around this part of the, but he won. I don't think he ever lost a race at Florence.
Really? Yeah, that's a bunch of wins.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And had a '55 Chevrolet.
Yep. I've seen pictures of the car. Yep.
Yeah. Yellow with a big 0 on it.
Big black 0 and had the letter 0 written out over top of it. Or sometimes it was written in it. I've seen it a couple of different ways.
I would think he might be in the run for it. I don't know. Now, Billy Teagard won a lot, but Patrick won a lot. Floyd Gibbert won a lot.
Yeah.
But it seemed like to me that guy might have won more than anybody. You know what I mean? But he, at that time, old Cook was a little smarter than everybody. He knew that the big V8 motors out of Buicks and what have you was not the answer. He knew the good running 6-cylinder. Would she build a 6-cylinder would fly?
Yeah.
It had a side draft on it with a 4-barrel. I mean, it wasn't
really.
It wasn't your average 6-cylinder.
Yeah, it wasn't your average 6-cylinder.
But he never spun a tire.
Really? Yeah.
He would take off, hold on the floor, never raise his foot, and drive right on by him.
He was transferring that horsepower to the track, which a lot of guys weren't.
I don't think he ever spun a tire on that car. Yeah.
It's amazing.
But he won. I would say he might be the guy that's. I don't know. It might be wrong, but he won a lot of races. Yeah. I think say, Ralph Lathan is the guy you're talking about too. I'm almost positive.
I'd say it could be in him. Probably could have been Patrick maybe. Vern had a bunch of wins. Jerry Rice had a bunch of wins. Man, there's a couple.
They are. But I was just naming people back in them days that I thought had won. Now Jerry Rice won a lot of races.
He won a lot of races too.
Yeah, and but them guys raced for so many years.
Yes,
I mean, they raced for.
Their careers were like this compared to guys that had careers
they raced
like
till they was old men. I mean, they started young guys that raced all that time.
Yeah.
They I would say he might. I don't know. I would like to know that answer. To be honest.
Yeah, I wish.
If anybody out there looks at this and can know who it is, put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I can see it.
I'll see if I can talk Ron Jerger into looking. I know his records and his dad's records. There's
now Jerger might know.
Yeah.
He's
got some of his records. He said it starts getting hard to look up and filtering out some of his dad's stuff because everything back then was handwritten and hand records. So it's being able to filter through and go through because there's just so much of it,
Well, that was all. That 0 was all in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like back in the 60s, it was. In the 70s, I can't remember them racing in the 70s. Best I can remember. It seemed like to me the late 60s was kind of the end of them, or that's when Cook more or less quit fooling them.
Yeah. Well, I might get with Jerger this weekend and say, hey, Ron, I need to know, man. We're talking
I'd
about.
Like to know. If you find out, to let me know.
I think a lot of people want to know that.
Oh, I'd like to know it.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's I can't think of anybody else there that really won a lot of races.
Right.
Pat Patrick won a lot, but that was for 2 or 3 years. These people raced for 15, 20 years.
Right. And you get those longer careers to rack up those wins.
When I was running around bicycles.
Yeah. All right, Robert, we're going to wrap things up.
All right.
Again, man, I appreciate you. This has been, to me, this has just been geeking out. I love sitting and getting to talk old history stuff. I appreciate you having us, letting us come in, and just I hope everybody watching it enjoys this too.
I appreciate you all doing it with us, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun to do it, you know what I mean? And it's fun to talk about things that nobody talks to me more about.
Yeah. How many people come up and talk to you about old Pennsboro?
Nobody asks me. I'm not kidding you. I was going to tell you one thing before I get off. I was up a track about 2 years ago, and this guy walked up to me, and he said, like this here, he was talking to me. He said, your name is Bobby Hensley. And I said, yeah, I wonder how you know that. He said, I watched you at Pennsboro lose that race.
Really?
I said, are you serious? He said, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I remember you up. He said, you're the one, ain't you? I said, yeah.
You're the one.
he said, I never forgot that. And I never saw him or didn't know who he was. He just, how he recognized me, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Unless he heard my name or something.
Right.
Said he called him Robert, so he might have heard that name and remembered it. But he said, yeah, he actually knew who I was. I couldn't believe it. I said, hell, I don't even look like that now.
That's a long time ago.
I ain't the same person.
Yeah. I had longer hair back then.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
I've seen pictures.
I had a lot of it.
Yeah, I had a lot of it. It was long,
yeah.
big muscles back then. I've seen pictures.
Yeah, I was a different person, but You know, things happen in
Yep.
this world.
We get older, don't we?
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yep.
I'm waiting for him to get old enough to know right from wrong.
Yeah, he's still got a few years to go.
You ain't kidding.
All right, so we're gonna wrap things up. Throw checker flag on this section with Robert Hensley. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I really enjoyed diving in, talking about some of the old stuff and where the sport was and how we got to where we are now, and hearing his take on some of this stuff. I think it's been pretty cool. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week.